Brittany.
Hey girl.
So just so people can know, I met Brittany in probably second grade, maybe.
It had to be first grade for you because pre-K and kindergarten. It might have been kindergarten.
Kindergarten. You were like
I was in pre-K.
Yes.
And you were in kindergarten.
Yes. So we go way back. Johnny Ford. Elementary school. Yes. So,
hablando español.
Sí, habla español también. We both grew up in a very interesting school, yes. Spanish immersion school. But it's important to learn the language. Yeah. It really does stick with you if people are thinking about putting their child in a school like that. So that was how we first met, just running around on the playground, being at school, with the different high schools. Life happens.
But we always stay connected.
Yeah, I think social media, Facebook helps.
Yes. And mutuals from when you went to college.
Yep,
my cousin.
Yes. Think about your earliest childhood memory. Like, what do you think shaped who you are today?
I think what shaped who I am today, definitely the way I was raised, like my mom, my grandmother, my father, the balance, the structure, church, a strict parent, not being able to do this and that.
Yeah.
And education for sure too.
Yeah.
I think because my mom was an educator, it was very important to her for her children to not be the standard,
be exceptional
in everything that we did.
Yeah.
We had to play sports. We had to get good grades. It was mandatory.
Yeah.
And we had to go to church.
Yeah.
Like, God was first in everything that we did. So I definitely think the way that my mother raised us, the structure, the everything.
So I remember kind of scrolling on Facebook a while back, like 2018, 2019, and I feel like this girl took Facebook by storm. Like, everybody was commenting on the outfit she was making. And that was when I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really out here sewing. Like, and you would show some videos, but I feel like a lot of you would just pop up like, I made this, look at my outfit. So tell me about 2018 and how you even got to that place. Because I feel like it happened all of a sudden, but maybe I didn't know. Maybe the world needs to know how you truly got started in fashion.
So I went to Ed White High School here in Jacksonville, and when we were in high school, we had home economics. In home economics, we did cooking, and I remember taking a fashion class at Ed White, and that's where I learned how to sew. So in high school, I was probably like 15 or 16, and I learned how to sew, but I didn't take it serious. I was a tomboy then. Like, I wanted sneakers and just to look nice. Like, I did like clothes and shoes, but I wasn't sewing. I made boxers and a pillowcase, and I think curtains. But I knew how to draft a pattern. Well, not draft, but how to cut a pattern and use it.
Yeah.
Like what you buy at Joann's. But I went to college, stopped sewing, and then 2012 or 13, I remember reaching out to someone on social media, through email, but I wanted something made, and she emailed me back, but never emailed me again. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to make my own.
There you go.
So 2013 was my first time in New York. I met my niece there. She took me to the garment district, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know how to rethread my machine. I got on YouTube University.
Yeah.
And I taught myself basically everything all over again. How to cut a pattern, draft a pattern, thread my sewing machine. And I just went from there. I invested in myself. I didn't know it was gonna turn into this. So let me backtrack. I found fabric that I liked.
Yeah.
I made something when I got home, and I posted a picture on Instagram and everyone loved my outfit, and it just went from there. Like, who made that? Where you got that from? And I was like, I made it. And I remember getting my first client. I was working at Forever 21 as a store manager. And she used to come in all the time. We were classmates, but she was a little older than me, so we used to see each other in passing a lot. But she's an occupational therapist, and she wanted something made for a cruise or going to Puerto Rico or something. She got like 3 different things made: a jumper, a bathing suit top, stuff I had never made before, but I just tried, and she believed in me, and she paid me for it. So I made a business out of it.
I know that's right. So it's 2 important things that you said. You said you invested in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you started to study the art and the craft
Yes.
of sewing.
Yes.
You know, it may not necessarily be fashion and all the designers, but you really focus on the skill itself.
Yes.
And I think what I admire the most about what I've seen you make or what I've seen you make for other people, it really fits them.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about your process of figuring out what style would look good on a body type.
So usually people will come and they don't know what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ask different questions, like how you asking me different questions. I pick their brain a little bit. Like, is this for a special occasion? Is this just something that you want? What color do you want? If you don't know what kind of fabric you like, I'll show different, swatches of fabric. But I really just I kind of feel them out when we do our consultations, and I just ask different questions, and like they might show me a picture and I'm like, well, let's do this. So I just put my own spin to it. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like my creative brain.
Hey, look, it's your secret sauce. I'm not mad at you. So when it comes to, I guess, people who have inspired you, has someone like really inspired you to like stay in fashion? Or is it just more so been about the customers and what you see and wanting to make stuff for yourself?
So I get inspiration from everywhere. I do. I feel like what inspires me the most is thinking back to my grandmother. My grandmother used to sew. She didn't teach me how to sew, but she used to sew. She was like a homemaker. So she sewed, she cooked. That was what she did for a living, like caterer. Um, she used to make cotillion ball gowns and wedding dresses, bridesmaids dresses, draperies, tablecloths for her parties, all those kind of things. And I started my business in 2013, and my grandmother passed away, but she had dementia, so they say. She remembered me.
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but
she remembered who I was. She had dementia, and every time we talked, I would say, "Hey, grandma. Hey, granny," and she'll be like, "Brittany."
Aww.
And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, it's me." And she's like, "You still making them beautiful dresses?" Aww. So I think that's what inspires me to keep going, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm doing this for me, my family, and I hear my grandmother like, keep doing it, stay focused.
Yeah. So that's really sweet.
Thank you.
That is very sweet. Tell me about the name 13 Dozen.
Okay, so 13 Dozen comes from when I started my business. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything. Like now, I feel like now information is it's public. Like people are willing to help you more than 11 years ago, right? So after I made my first outfit and it blew up on social media and people were asking me, I'm like, oh, I can make money from this. Like, let's do it. But I wanted it to be a business, right? So I wanted to have a name, something unique and something for me. So 13 Dozen. I'm the youngest of 13 children. My dad, anytime he introduced me, like wherever we went, he would be like, "This my baby girl. She number 13. They told me to come cheap about a dozen." So my friends from college, and people that know me, they call me B. Yeah. So 13 Dozen by B.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Being the 13th child, how was that? Just out of curiosity, because if you're the baby, you got all these siblings, and I heard you say you went to New York with your niece, and when I hear niece, I think younger, but obviously
We are the same age.
that's funny.
So I am the baby of 13. Just imagine having 9 mamas,
Oh wow.
2 daddies, 3 daddies.
Yeah.
Like I'm the youngest,
It's like a
so
community for
it
real.
is. That it's it has its challenges, but it's also like perks to it. Sometimes I get treated like a baby, sometimes I get treated like an adult.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship for the most part.
Yeah.
Still working on it, but
You mean relationship with your siblings?
Yeah, with my siblings.
Yeah.
We we're far apart in our age difference, but most of the time they treat me like I'm their baby.
Yeah. I can imagine that. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and they treat me
So
like, yeah, I know what you mean. So when it comes to projects that you've worked on, can you tell me a horror story? Can you tell me something that just went terribly wrong and what you did to fix it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent. Sometimes I procrastinate because I feel like I work well under pressure, but that's no way to handle business, and it's something that I am truly, truly working on. Because it has had its downfalls. But being in business, I always try to make it right. Like, I think of me being the consumer when I have a client. So prom. Let's just say, I have to stick to my guns and not take any last minute orders, or when I not I'm always up for a challenge, but I also want to do things that I know I'm capable of. Of course, people show me inspirational pictures and I just make it my own. I had a customer that wanted a gown made, and the fabric that I chose was not a good choice. So what they wanted, it was gonna be like that on the shade room. What I asked for versus what I got. So I had to think quick. Like I said before, I invest in myself a lot. So I always buy fabric and just, little things, because I'm like, oh, I want to make this, I want to make that. Well, it was a good thing that I did this time, because we had to go with plan B. And I just explained to my customer, I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to make this happen for you, but this is my suggestion and this is what I feel like we should do. I showed them what I had and I made it happen. So it wasn't like complete horror, but
so you had to make this customer a completely different dress.
A completely different dress. I had to go buy fabric with my own money, because I can't ask you for more money after I give you a price.
And then you had to change the design.
And I had to change the design.
Wow.
Stay up all night to make it.
Yeah.
And make sure that she was happy and good for prom.
And how was she happy? And
she was happy. Yeah. She was good. I mean, that's what she told me. And of course, I gave a discount. I have a few horror stories. Another one, wedding reception dress, and the zipper broke
at the reception.
She didn't even get to wear her dress.
She didn't call you?
She didn't call me that in that moment, because it's her wedding. Like, she has another dress to put on, but afterwards she did reach out and let me know, and I felt horrible.
Oh man.
Yeah. And this was like actually 2018 or maybe 19. Like at the peak of my business. And it crushed me. It really did, because I was like, I felt like I failed. I did the dress. I did 2 dresses. I did her daughter's dress actually, and her dress for her reception, and her zipper broke, and she
tried it on?
She tried it on and it fit. It fit, but I think the zipper was just like, it was, sometimes you can get a faulty zipper.
Yeah.
So it could have just been faulty, but she couldn't wear it. So we made a deal. I did end up giving her some money back, not all of it, but in that she came right back and purchased something else.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I know she was good because, I explained to her, I paid for the fabric, with your deposit, and I understand you weren't able to wear the dress, but I can't give you all of the money back.
Because you already used the money to.
Right. So she gave me the dress back, and I gave her some of her money back, and she ended up coming back like a few weeks later and getting something else made for a trip.
What about the difference? I mean, not the difference, but what about replacing the zipper? Did you eventually replace the zipper and give it back to her?
I have not looked at it since. It's
You
in a
probably
garment
was just
bag
like, you
because I was so
can't.
frustrated
Yeah.
with it. I spent so much time working on it,
Yeah.
and I have said that I am going to go back and revisit it and just
You
take
should
the
probably
zipper
just take
out,
the zipper out.
revamp it,
Yeah.
and
Maybe you could give it to her.
she might not want it.
Yeah. Might not.
She might not.
Let me see it. I might need to use it.
I'll show it to you.
How do you see your brand evolving over the next 5 years? Where do you see it going?
In the next 5 years, I would love to see my brand in a big box store.
Really?
Yes, I would love to partner with Target. I just see Target, um, the Future Collective part of their clothing is so inspirational to me. That's definitely an inspiration, and seeing people that look like me featured in that spot. I would love that. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but it's something that I hope to do within the next 5 years. Um, I am I like ready to wear pieces. I do a lot of custom pieces, so especially like prom time gowns and all of that. But I would love to be in a big box store. See my brand make it on the runway, fashion shows, like the big fashion house names. It's wonderful to see, and it's like I could do that too.
Absolutely. What do you think people should know before getting into fashion?
So I think that people should know that it takes money to make money, for sure. I think that you have to know what you're worth. Like, it's no, the cost of fabric is the cost of fabric, right? But your time, your knowledge, and your expertise is mainly what people are paying for when you are doing something customized for them. To me, it's just like looking at Walmart, Target versus a luxury brand. Um, we see all the time, like Steve Madden and Gucci will have similar things, but the price point is different,
Right.
Or Target and Steve Madden, the price point is different. So
right.
I think it's based off of you and, like what you think you're worth.
And honestly, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. And every year things go up.
Yeah, it is expensive to run a business. So I think it's important that people understand where pricing comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, it might take 3 yards to make an outfit.
Mm-hmm.
A yard of fabric could be, let's say, $10 a yard.
Right.
So you're already spending $30
just on
the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you price your items when it comes to what something may cost? I know you got to factor in, let's just say $30 for the fabric. Mm-hmm. You have to factor in the time, maybe any like zippers, buttons, things like that. How do you go about pricing your item? And I think this is important for other designers to understand and see how you should be pricing your item.
Right. So $10 a yard, $30. So I'm gonna multiply that by 3 times. Mm-hmm. Right. I had to source the fabric. And then fabric is fabric, but what about needles, thread? My sewing machine, if it breaks and I need to get another one.
Yeah. So like percentages of each thing.
Each thing has to go into it. My time, how much time is it gonna take me to make it? So let's say it could take me a day to make it,
Okay.
but within that day, that's just to sew it, right? It may take me a few hours to draft a pattern. It may take me a few more hours to cut it. And then it may take me however long to make it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's different steps that goes into it. So like I said before, you know, it's like, just what do you think you're worth?
So what's
Um,
the average price of one of your prom dresses? Because I know prom season is where you really do well.
so average cost of a dress, typically like a cocktail dress, is gonna be about $375.
Okay.
And then like prom gowns or any evening gown, it's gonna start at about 900, 975.
Okay.
And that's just because, again, we had a cost of fabric, my time, just making sure that everything is covered. You know, you're completely satisfied, you get what you want, and needles, thread, sewing machine, bobbin,
Yeah.
all that
All that
stuff.
stuff adds up.
It adds up and it goes into it.
And packaging too.
Packaging
Do
as
yeah,
well.
you package your items in boxes or you use garment bags? What do you
So
use?
my gowns, I use garment bags. Any gowns, cocktail dress, I use garment bags. And stickers.
Oh yeah,
So like
labels.
labels,
Yeah.
certain things that I will put on the packaging.
And labels can be very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Price, I do have price tags. I have stickers. So
All that
yeah,
man, that stuff adds up.
it does.
Yeah, it definitely adds
It
up.
does.
So if you're a designer out there, can you give advice to an up and coming designer?
I could definitely give advice to an up and coming designer. You don't have to have it all figured out in the beginning. Start with what you have. And that's just like when you go in the kitchen and cook, you know, if you have what you have, you're gonna cook with what you have.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I'm going with that. Like, start with what you have. You might have fabric and some thread, and you might not have a website. Use an email address. I started with an email address. I didn't have a website. And eventually I got better with everything over time. Start with what you have. You don't need a lot. You can use your resources around you. You can start with sustainability. If you want to be a fashion designer, you don't know what you're doing. You don't have to go out and spend $100 on fabric. You can go to the thrift store and revamp something and make it something new. Sustainability is really the way to go now. I definitely would say start with what you have, though. And slow progress is better than no progress. It's a marathon.
Yeah, I like that. When it comes to the collections that you want to see, do you feel like you're going to be more of a gown designer like Vera Wang, or do you feel like you want to do like trendy clothes, like what's hot and popping now? Do you want to make classic pieces? Like, what is going to be 13 Dozen by B? Like, what is going to be your signature thing? Because in my mind, well, I know it's in my mind. You tell me what is in, you tell me what you want the brand to signify.
I want to have gowns. I want to have ready to wear. I want to have fun.
Okay,
I want to have like everything, but I know I have to focus on one thing at a time. It
right.
can't just be everything at once. So um right now I'm loving the gowns that I make. Just seeing it come, just seeing it happen, I love it. It's like I look at my hands and I'm like, God, I thank you for blessing my hands and for this gift, because it's amazing. Like, sometimes when I'm making stuff, I might cry, I might be upset because it's a lot, but when I'm done with it, I'm like, oh, that is so beautiful. And just seeing, especially younger girls, because I work with a lot of prom. I do a lot of prom, especially around this time of the year, prom season. Most people have never had anything made, and especially just for them. So to see them light up when they have it, and the process of getting something made and it's for me, and then, you know, feeling their best and looking so good. I I love that part of it right now. That's what I'm really enjoying, the evening gowns.
And the parents are paying.
The parents, where they getting the money from?
Listen, because I don't know.
Where
I
they
feel
getting- 'cause I
like
want everybody to feel
you want them to
like,
feel special.
yeah,
That it definitely
especially
makes
when
a
you
difference.
spending that kind of money. Like, you
Yes.
don't want a twin when you
No,
spending that kind of money.
no, and people would be up at prom with the same dress on, and
Same
it was
dress.
like, oh God, the horror. But so I like how like gowns have been your thing. Thinking about your first customer, can you remember who your first customer was? Can you tell me a little bit about how your first customer, that first payment, like walk me through that feeling?
For my first customer, she was my first customer ever to like pay me, buy anything.
Yeah.
I remember exactly what she got made. It was a romper, and it was tie-dye. And I look at the picture and I'm like, this is a mess. But she was my first customer, and she believed in me.
Maybe it was good for back then.
It was good for back then for sure.
Yeah.
It was 2013.
Yeah.
So it was good for back then. It just wasn't what I'm working with now.
There you go.
You know, like now I'm gonna make sure it's fitted. It's, you know, it's what you want. It's customized for you.
Yeah. Tell me about your biggest lesson learned with 13 Dozen by B.
Oh, my biggest lesson learned. My biggest lesson learned is don't procrastinate. Like, and just a little bit at a time is better than nothing. I think for sure in general in life we have to be consistent. And I will say my biggest lesson learned is when I treat my business like a business, it treats me like I've treated it like a business. You know what I mean? Like 2018 was my best year in business, and that's because I actually treated my business like a business. I responded to emails in a timely manner. I did everything I said I was going to do. I wrote everything down. My mom preaches to me about writing everything down. So writing everything down for sure helps, even though it's like we use computers all the time now and our phones are in our hands all the time. So we get away from writing things down. But I truly, truly feel like when I wrote everything down, everything was good to go for my business.
When you say write everything down, like any idea that comes to mind, or
any idea that comes to mind, any customer that I have, I used to write it down. Like I have a notebook, I have a book, and I got it from Joann's, and it has Queen Bee on the front, and it's like a date thing at the top where I can write the date, but it's like a journal basically. And I found it the other day cleaning out my stuff, and I used to write everything down from 2016 to 2018. I wrote everything down. 2016 was my last year in Tallahassee, and I would go back and forth from Tallahassee to Jacksonville taking orders, and I literally wrote out this customer, their name, what they were getting when they picked it up, how much they paid. At the end of the month, I wrote down how much I paid for fabric that month, how much money I made, and the difference, so I could see everything versus going back looking for receipts and, you know, everything, trying to figure it out at the end of the year. So for sure, write everything down.
So now we're gonna do like a little fire round.
Okay.
Okay. And you just answer the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Dress or pants?
Pants.
Like pants.
Yes.
The best to you and the most overrated to you?
Best designer brand to me, like luxury brand.
Any brand. It could be luxury.
Overrated. Can I do overrated first?
Yeah.
Okay, overrated. I feel like Chanel is so overrated. It's not luxury anymore. Well, I ain't gonna say it's not luxury anymore because it's still luxury, but I just feel like it's overrated. Best. No.
13 Dozen by B.
13
Hello.
Dozen by B. Duh. The best
Okay.
of the best.
The best of the best. We talking quality, craftsmanship,
Everything.
all of that. Yes. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
So you gonna get up in the morning?
I used to get up 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym every morning.
Girl.
I love to watch the sunrise.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
What's your favorite country?
So far, I haven't been to Africa. I've been to Europe and I've been to Caribbean islands. I'm loving Europe.
Yeah. Europe is a vibe.
Europe is, I mean, I've been to London and Paris, and I loved London. I've been to Milan.
Oh yeah, I know that was
I
nice.
recently went to Milan, and oh my gosh, the fashion.
Yeah.
The fashion, like
Yeah.
I loved Milan. The people not so much, but London I loved. I'm gonna say London has been my favorite so far.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For your time.
Thank you.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Like I felt like I was catching up and learning about you
Yeah.
all at the same time because it's been like a long space of time for us
Yes.
to really talk. I'm really excited for your business. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you.
We got to get you in some big box stores. So y'all support 13 Dozen by B.
Please, so we can,
yes,
you know,
get your custom gowns,
get your custom
dresses.
gown. You're supporting the dream.
Yes, support the dream. And she's Duval's very own. So we always got to work with ourselves first, right, y'all?
Yes. Support local small businesses.
Yep. So how can people reach you?
I can be reached on Instagram. My Instagram is 13DozenbyBee, 13 dozen by B, spelled out. I have an email address. I have a website. My website is shop13dozen.com. So shop13dozen.com, and you can send email inquiries. I have a lot of things listed out there. But yeah, all right. Support the brand.
Brittany.